I'm Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman for New York's 14th Congressional District.
Representative Jahana Hayes from Connecticut.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from Minnesota's 5th.
My advice for young women, and I think just all women, is that we don't have to hem ourselves in. We don't have to make ourselves seem acceptable.
Back in 2016, we put out a call for nominations, trying to capture the diversity of background, of experience, of the American electorate, the people that aren't currently represented in office. We got over 10,000 nominations. Out of those 10,000 nominations, we found Alexandria.
My brother told me that he had sent my nomination in the summer, but I was like literally working out of a restaurant then, and I was like, there's no way.
Her profile is not what you'd think of as someone who should run for office, right?
I grew up with a really politically engaged and attuned family. We always were debating politics, talking about things, but we were never involved in the formal structures of politics.
We saw these signs of someone who's willing to sacrifice their own future for the good of others.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shrikat, and I'm also work on the Bernie Sanders campaign with John and Rapi and a lot of you guys. And the thing I'm working on right now is brand new Congress. We're basically we're aiming to try to replace Congress with a bunch of progressives in 2018. We're aiming to try to replace Congress with a bunch of progressives in 2018. We're aiming to try to replace Congress with a bunch of progressives in 2018. And if you want to learn more about brand new Congress, you should actually come to one of our orientation calls, and we kind of go into details about how we're planning to do that. But on the tech front, there's obviously like a ton of stuff that we're gonna need to do. I mean, we're still trying to kind of figure out which of these things we want to build and which of these things hopefully we can use of the tools that are going to be coming out of progressive coders and all these other groups. But there is one specific big project that's sort of looming on the horizon for us, which I really need some volunteer coders for. And that's basically, we want to create our sort of volunteer portal for brand new Congress engagement. And the idea here is basically to have a place where you can show up, see the stuff see all the instructions you can get for how to get involved and start doing work, and also see how well you're doing. So all the tracking stuff, we kind of had this idea of trying to build up a list of supporters in every single congressional district to try to hit a specific voter turnout number by 2018, when you need to actually mobilize people to go vote. And there's pretty good data out there about how high that number would need to be to win a congressional primary in 2018. So what we want to do is basically structure like a portal around that win number, set up ways to track who's getting the supporters, essentially doing both voter ID, going and tabling and collecting names that aren't just off the voter file, and trying to create sort of this. Trying to basically create a thing where brand new Congress can offer all of its tools to anyone who wants to get involved, but then also allow people to come up with their own ways to do voter contact and persuasion and all that stuff, and basically give us the data back. So that's sort of a vague description. If you guys are interested in wanting to work on that, I've started an issue. Basically, to get involved in brand new Congress in general on the tech side, if you go to our GitHub, it's at github.com/brandnewcongress/welcome. There's sort of instructions on how to just jump in and start fixing smaller issues here and there on the website, and on the other projects we already have going. But if you want to get involved on this specific project, just ping me on Slack. I'm in the Progressive Coder Slack, and I kind of want to try to get a team going to sort of spec this out and build it out, and it would be great. It'll basically be like an open source campaign where all the resources are available to anyone who wants to get involved, and the grassroots are able to actually submit back all the work that they're doing in a very easy way. So that's the idea, and I'm gonna hand it off next to Virginia.
I remember remember some of the moments that I felt really dejected about politics.
We're taking people that have been in, say, in radio or news, and there's a real variety of people that are coming into this organization as potential candidates. And if you know, I think that's very exciting, but the other side of that is now you've got to train them, A, to be candidates, B, to be legislators, right? So there's so many aspects of what we're putting together that if we launch the ground campaign of this too early, that's going to become all consuming, because when you're organized on the ground, that's what you got to do. You got to make sure you're responding to people and that you're giving them the support that they need.
You never wait for an invitation or ask permission to step into your power.
Be fearless and unapologetic about being your best you.
What you bring is very unique. Don't let anybody try to minimize the importance of what your experience is.
I got so much advice on this journey about what I should or should not do, or how I should or should not behave, or what I should or should not say. And I think we really have to leave room for people to embrace their own beauty.
I appreciate the shoulders that I stand on and all those who went before in the women's movement. Now, as Speaker of the House, I have shoulders for others to stand on. And I say to the women, know your power. Run for office. You've marched, now run. They did in this election, and our Congress and our country is blessed with so many more women.
We can demand to be powerful as we are and to be accepted as we are. And we don't have to play by anybody else's rules anymore.
I came to Washington to be a voice for the people in my community who have felt they have been left out of these conversations, bringing civility, bringing a perspective, bringing the voice of all of those people who have felt marginalized, working with my colleagues so that our Congress is more representative of our communities.
I came here to accomplish the people's agenda. Investment in infrastructure, especially 21st century infrastructure. Having implementation of immigration policy that is humane and just.
My why in being here and my purpose is to address the needs of the 1 in 5 children in America who lives in poverty.
One of the big things that I hope to accomplish this year is to help translate the mandate that the American people gave us in this past election for change.
You do when someone like Trump wins.
And my experience at Standing Rock was so spiritually transformative. Being there in such an acute moral struggle, you really saw how it was more important than any material thing. And so I walked out of that camp and I was like, what do I do? And then literally that day, I get this email like, this is what you do.
So Izzy, one of the people that was working with us at the time, called, and it was scheduled for 20, 30 minutes, and it went maybe an hour and a half.
Like, you hadn't thought about running for office or anything at that point, right?
No.
Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, you have said it was Senator Sanders who really inspired you to enter the political race in the first place. What is it like for you to be out there campaigning alongside him?
I mean, it's certainly surreal. Just two years ago, we were both in St. Mary's Park in the South Bronx. I was in the crowd with thousands of other people across ages, races, creeds, incomes. And to be here 2 years later, pushing that revolution in Kansas is pretty amazing. My brother did it for me, and he got me into this whole mess, so now everyone else needs to come along.